So, decided to record this thing again. I'm still not gonna label it, but I kind of enjoyed doing it the last time, and we'll see where it goes. It's kind of fun talking about the projects that I'm working on. So, I'm filming on Halloween, but I'm really sad because you can't really see my really cute Halloween dress. I'll see if I can insert a photo or something because I love it so much. So happy Halloween. I'm not sure if I'm going to post this today or not yet, but if it's already passed, I hope you had a good one. If not, have a good one. Be safe. I guess I'll just start right into it. Sorry, I had to change how I filmed between this week and last, and I'm still, I think, there's the camera, so I need to look there. So in the last video, I was working on the Mommy and Me Candy Corn Beanie by Liz's Indiana Attic. And that was a test that I was doing. It's a crochet beanie, and it is, of course I'll show you the back seam. It is my only finished object for today. I love this hat so much. You can see the button. I'm still very new to attaching pom-poms, but I wanted to attach it in a way where I could take it off if I need to. So I've been trying the button method. So the button's sewed in, and then you wrap the little like elastic that comes on it. I don't know. This is like my second pom-pom that I've used. So, but this one I bought at Joann's, and it had, you can kind of see that elastic. Get that band. It's all the same color, so it blends in. I just kind of wish I would have had a white button to use instead, but I like the brown button. So it's there on top. Sorry, gonna focus that back. Went right in front of the camera. And this is obviously candy corn themed. I have some photos on my Instagram feed, but essentially it's like that. It's really cute. I love it. It's the first time I did a double brim hat, so like you make this part a little longer, then fold it over and crochet into it, which I thought was a really neat technique. And it's such a warm hat. We got snow last weekend, so I've definitely already been making good use of this super cute, super warm beanie. I just love the texture of that stitch. It looks so good. I'm also quite pleased with how this yarn worked out. It's all red heart. I think the white and the yellow is Super Saver, and then the middle is like Red Heart Soft or something, but I got it because this is probably my favorite shade of orange, like this nice deep golden, like slightly muted. Just makes me so happy. So there is that. I don't have all my whips today, but I'm bringing the two that I've been working on this week. I'll show the one that I shared last time first because I'm still working on it. So this is the other test I'm working on, and I've had to frog it and redo it quite a few times now. So I think I'm behind the other members in the group, but that's how it goes. So this is the sweet pea wrap top. Oh no, I'm gonna have to lift it up higher. It's a maternity top / nursing top, but not just one or the other of those. It's meant to be for people who are not pregnant. I'm not pregnant, and I'm testing this. I don't know how well it's gonna show up because horizontal video means that I can't show as tall as I did before. But it's a pretty big piece. I had started working on the sleeves because I was kind of stuck on some of the other parts. So this is a Karen Big Cakes and Afternoon Tea, I think is the color. I just happen to remember it off the top of my head. And then I had to, it shows up a lot more on camera than it does in person. You can see I just barely didn't have enough and I swapped in with some gray. I promise it's not that, like, it's noticeable, but it's not as harsh as it is on camera, because that is a pretty striking difference. But I really like how this ended up. So when I showed it 2 weeks ago, I guess is when I filmed the other one, I had made this top piece a lot taller. I needed to make it bigger than the pattern called for anyway, just because I have a longer torso. But I ended up making it, I overcompensated and made it too long, so I frogged it last weekend, pretty much not quite to the beginning, but pretty close to the beginning. So, did I focus that back? I think so. So I'm much happier with the length of it now. This horizontal thing is gonna drive me nuts, but it's what I need to film it in. So it falls just below my bust at this point. It'll be like a empire waistline, like the higher waistline by the time it's done. And so I still need to do, like, the shoulders need to be seamed up. The sleeves are done except for the ends. I'll have a final neckline to do along the wrap. I think I need to add ties, I'm assuming. I'm also gonna have to figure out a way to make this top fit me better, because it's a little too big at the moment. And it makes sense. I mean, it's made to be a little bit bigger and have a little more room because it's designed to be a maternity top. And obviously, when you have a baby in your belly, you're gonna need that extra room. But because I don't have a belly like that to hold up, it's a very interesting constructed top. And I will forever be obsessed with this stitch. I really will be. I just love it so much. I'm gonna have to be clever with how I make it work. So stay tuned for that. The next time I record one of these, it'll be done, because I think I have about a week left before I need to have this finished up. Oh, and so part of my other point, I was talking about the yarn up here, because I had, the big cake was just enough for me to do this top height. But then I found it's Red Heart again in this cream color, but it matches. I could not have asked for a better match. Let's see how it shows on camera. We'll see. I could not have asked for a better match between the Red Heart here and the Karen Cake here. Like, that cream is just about spot on. I think this is a little more like a gray maybe, but so close. And so I picked up a lot of that yarn to be my accent for the bottom, like, portion of this top, and then like the sleeves and the neckline, basically the accent pieces. So I'm really pleased with the color combination. I think doing it this way would actually look a lot better than if I had the whole thing in this cake, because I think that would have been overwhelming. But having just the top part be this fun stripe, and then like the bottom part, the heavier, I think that's where your eye is going to be drawn on this top, is the texture of the bottom part of the top. And so having that be more like a solid yarn, I think will balance that out really nicely. So we'll see. Hopefully it goes well, because the clock is certainly ticking on that one for me. My second whip is from, it's not my first knit crate, but it's my first knit crate project, and I'm using both the yarn in the knit crate and the knit crate pattern. This is from the October box, and the featured designer, I'm just gonna say Knititude. I think her name's Chantel. Oh, Knititude. And this was the yarn. Oh my gosh, I love it. This was the yarn that she helped design, maybe? I think these yarns are exclusive to the boxes. So, it's upside down. This is called Chonk, and I can't remember the brand or anything. I'll be sure to have that in the comments. Description, sorry. The color is Petal. That I do remember. But look at this color. I'm obsessed. I knew immediately, like between the first reason that I got this particular box was because of Chantel. And I really wanted to try one of her designs. And secondly, because of this color. This yarn is so soft. It looks pretty fuzzy. But I would say the way it looks and the way it actually feels and works up are two different things. Like it's beautiful. I love it. It's squishy, it's soft. I was kind of worried about how it would work up just from what other people were saying. I don't usually work with yarn this fluffy. Yeah, I think that's what you could call it. But, you know, I'm so glad that so far I'm knocking on wood right now. I haven't had to frog anything yet. Because I could see this catching on itself. But so far, it hasn't been too much of a pain to work with. So I will show you what I'm making. I think it's called... if you don't follow Knititude, I can't even do this story justice. There's so much depth into the back of this pattern. But this is a Dicky. I think it's called the Celtic Knot. But look at it. So it's gonna go here, and then it's gonna fall down to like my hips, I'd say. And then the idea is that you can put coats on top of it and you don't have the bulkiness of the sweater, but you look like you're wearing a bulky sweater. And I just love this color so much. It's so pretty. And I'm just pleased that my knots and my cabling are looking pretty fantastic, if I say so myself. Look at this color, this light. I love it. It's so good. So that's where I'm at. I'm definitely halfway done. I can't remember how many repeats I have left. It works up so fast. I started this, I think Sunday, and I'd basically just finished the ribbing on Sunday. And then Thursday, I picked it up, and I worked on it probably most of the afternoon, but I pretty much did all of this in like 2 sittings, essentially. All this cabling. It's super easy. It's like a 8-row repeat. And I think it's constructed really well so that it's either easy to follow along on the pattern, or like on your return row, you're basically just following the stitches of the previous row, except for like this side is the seed stitch, I guess is what it's called, which is if you have a purl in your previous row, you knit, and if you have a knit in your previous row, you purl. So really love this. Can't wait to wear it. And yes, I did have a knitting pattern. My dragon flight shawl the last time I recorded this video. I have not touched it since then. That is a very complex, it requires a lot of counting. I'm not very far in, as you saw, or maybe saw. And so the stitches aren't complex, it's just there's a lot of counting because I think it's short rows. It's all short rows to do like one scale. So that part has been pretty difficult, and I have just needed something that I can get lost in. So between the tests that I'm doing, where pretty much it's repetition, and then even though this sticky, the cabling is required more concentration, it's so quick at being worked up that I thought that would be a nice break. Just to feel like I've accomplished something, because that shawl is going to take a very long time for me. I'm a slow knitter. So those are the only projects that I have to share at this moment. So I thought, since I don't have a lot, that I would bring some yarn in again that I received since the last video. So I'm going to start with these little guys. Did I grab them all? Yeah. So I can't remember if I showed all of them or just the one that I'd opened that day, but in my last video I mentioned that I had received, it's called Yarntoberfest by Annie.Creative, I believe is her business name. And she, excuse me, she did a whole bunch of different sets, and I did the mini skeins. So every Saturday of October we had a mystery package to open, and I'm trying to see, I think I have this order kind of right. The last one was today, so now I have all 5 of them, and I still haven't decided what I want to make. But these are the colors. Aren't those pretty? Again, these were the ones that had that really amazing braid. I mean, look at that. The braid to these little hanks. These colors are so beautiful and so autumn, and it makes me so happy. We have Leaf Jumping, Pumpkin Farm, Apple Festival, All That Is Gold, and Pecan Pie, however you want to say it. So, I don't know, if you have thoughts on what I should make with this, let me know. The first thing that comes to mind is the sprocket socks. Just because Explorer Knits, Explorer Fiber? That dyer always plugs those socks for minis, and so that's now all I can think of when I see a group of minis like this. So that might end up being what these turn into. We'll see. So that's that. I'm gonna share this yarn next. It's not my full order because I actually did this in 2. Red Door Fiber Studio opened their Avatar collection, I think it was in September, and it did so well that she ended up opening another round of pre-orders this month. And so in my first order I got these 2. I wanted something that screamed Aang, which this was designed for Aang. It's called The Boy and the Iceberg. And then that's Rough Buddy. And like, this was one of the colorways, or the palettes, I guess, that she had suggested, and I found this really cute. It is a shawl collection, actually, that's inspired by different characters in Avatar, and I didn't pick it because it was Katara necessarily, but I thought it was to me it was my favorite look of the, I think there are 3 or 4 of them. But it was a really neat series, and I really liked the look of the Katara shawl, and I thought it would be super cute to have Aang yarn. Oh. Aang yarn with the Katara theme shawl. And then in the pre-order that they just opened, let me do this right, I ended up caving and getting this beautiful orange because how could I not? So the idea is that the shawl will start with one of the other solids and then move into the variegated and then switch to whatever solid I don't end up using. So I think that'll be super pretty. Yep. I really like this blue too. So that is my Avatar yarn. I bought a sock set I want to say it was the dancing dragon one because it was so hard for me to choose colors out of this collection, but I love Avatar. It was one of the first animes that I actually like watched start to finish. And I just love the characters of that show, so it was really hard for me to choose, having like that connection and knowing, like, the collection without knowing anything about Avatar is gorgeous, but when you have that like deeper knowledge of everything, it just makes it that much more special. So I had a really hard time choosing, but that is what I settled on, that and a sock set. I could have bought all of it. So secondly, actually last but not least, I would say, I have this yarn, and it'll hopefully sound familiar because I've been talking about this yarn in other videos. So Wasted Yarns is hand-dyed acrylic yarn, and I have made a couple videos now about what I made with it and the yarn itself because that sample was actually gifted to me. But I decided I liked it so much that I purchased a couple of skeins. This is the pumpkin spice colorway, and I'm gonna make a super cute hat with it. I already know what I'm gonna make with it. I bought it specifically for this project. I'll see if I can insert a photo of that too, but it's I'm not going to try to pronounce it because I'm not sure if it's actually pronounced pumpkin, but it's by Bumblebee Acres. And it's like this cute little poofy hat that sits on your head. And the texture of it, I think this is a nice subtle variegated color that it would look good. I really think it will. I think it'll work really nicely with that pattern, so not sure when I'm going to start it, but I couldn't resist. So pretty. So that is all I have to talk about at this time. Thanks for quote unquote joining me, and I'll catch you on the flip side.